Hey everyone, how are you? My name is Emma and I'm sure you've seen a million makeup tutorials on the interwebs, but I have been a makeup artist since I was 23 and I am now 34 and a half, so I thought why not just add another video to the sphere of the web, especially during COVID-19. I've never been a big tutorial person. That's never really been my forte, but I hope this gives you a little bit of joy and inspiration for the trying times that we're in right now, because you know what, even though it's a pandemic and it would be easy to say, why try, why put makeup on, why do my hair, why get dressed? Well, sometimes the only reason is because it's fun and it's important to have fun. Like for me, makeup is one of the most fun things in life. I don't know, playing dress up, seeing how you look in different ways. And oh, there's some paint I've been painting for my art class. But anyway, so I don't wear makeup a lot right now because obviously we're in a pandemic, so I'm not going out, but there are days where I put makeup on just because it's fun. Also, if you are someone that's single and maybe doing a little bit of online dating right now, yeah, put makeup on. Why not? This is what I would be doing if I were to be doing, makeup with a mask on. Hey, what do you see when you have your mask on? Eyes. You don't see your lips. Let's focus on the eyes. What I want to lead this tutorial in is I want to lead it in color theory. I'm going to be going by the skin tones that we have and our eye color, because really right now with this pandemic, it's all about the eyes. I want to start with the brows. This is my my brow stuff. It's like a gel. It's liquid. I also sometimes use powder for my brows, but lately this has just been what I've been using. Most people's brows just need to either be filled in because maybe they're a little bit patchy, or maybe depending on their hair color, if they've dyed their hair and their natural brow doesn't quite align, you might want to use a pencil to alter the color a little bit. But I've got some dye in my hair. I actually dyed it myself with some box dye, and I'm okay having darker brows than hair. To me, it's like kind of a blonde power look. So I'm just going with this taupe color, which is really the sort of my natural eyebrow color. But I just fill in a little bit because it gets a little patchy. What's next? Okay, well, as I'm looking at myself in the screen, I see I have a little bit of discoloration on my forehead. No big deal. That's what concealer's for, right? This stuff I have here is by Wet n Wild. It was probably, I don't know, $5. I love a good cream stick because it's concentrated, so you don't have to work that hard. And the cool thing about this pandemic, we don't have to work that hard with our looks here. We're not out for hours. We don't have to worry about touch-ups that much. Chances are if we're doing our makeup, we're doing it for a Zoom call or a quick trip to the grocery store. I'm literally just gonna put a tiny bit of this on my forehead where I have the blemish. And I know it's a small blemish, but it's a blemish, so hello. So I'm just applying it where it needs to be applied. And then I just kind of like blend the outside. So now it's gone. And normally, pre-pandemic, I don't just put coverage over a zit and let it go. I powder it because that sets it. So here's some loose powder. I went back to school about 4 years ago, so I've been a student. I'm getting my degree to be an art teacher. As much as I love makeup, I had kind of wanted to be an art teacher as well. So I don't have a lot of money right now. My kit is small and it's inexpensive. I'm buying a lot of drugstore makeup and I'm okay with that. You know, when I'm on set, I try to, and I'm working with the professionals, I try to buy high-end beauty products and makeup, but right now that's really hasn't been where my life has been. This is just a Q-tip and some loose powder. And what this does is it sets the spot coverage that you just did with your concealer. So then you're going to want to take just a fluffy brush and I'm just going to flick away. So now that's covered. we're gonna do the eyes. This is the fun part, and it's the part that some people that aren't super into makeup feel like is really daunting, but I promise you it's not. If I was doing someone's makeup on set or for a wedding, a primer, a eye primer, a lid primer. A lot of people say, oh, you don't need that, what's that? Actually, for an event where you need to be looking fabulous for hours and hours and hours, and you might not really want to be in the bathroom a lot touching up your makeup, primer is really helpful. It helps prevent eyeshadow from creasing. You know how eyeshadow creases in the lid? So the primer helps. I'm just going to go ahead and put on some of that primer. Excuse me one second. With all this primer, I put the primer on my lids. It's like an eye cream. Well, guess what? I have to let it dry. So I'm going to close my eyes. Take some deep breaths. And you can't really multitask when you're letting your primer dry because you need to have your eyes closed. How you guys doing? How you guys doing? I'm just going to let this dry for about another minute. Got my mask on. We're in tough times. It's really tough. I went back to school to be an art teacher, and my plan was to, during the summers, to be doing private makeup clients. Because I love makeup so much, I just wanted to change my avenue on how I was doing it. I wanted to be able to work with kids, and not in the way of just putting makeup on them for commercials. I wanted to be able to help them with the arts, because you know what? A lot of makeup artists are really just painters at heart. I know that's who I am. So my dreams are a little crushed right now, because I wanted to be a makeup artist during the summer. I wanted to do weddings. My fiance and I were planning on possibly moving to Nashville, and I was going to get a tiny house or a trailer, and I was going to do beauty makeup in my trailer for events and weddings. But gosh, that just feels so silly right now, you know. A couple more deep breaths. The primer is dry. Okay, now it's dry. Now it's really, really dry. Okay, so I've done the primer. Again, this is by Makeup Forever. Pretty much my favorite makeup line. Well, people always ask me, what's your favorite makeup line? I don't really have a favorite. It depends on how much money I have and who the client is and what their tastes are. If I'm working for someone that's really into natural beauty, like eco-friendly stuff, then I'm going to go green and I'm going to do a more green line. But if I'm trying to do super pigmented pop art colors, I'll probably go for like Makeup Forever or NARS or Kat Von D. It just depends on the situation. I'm an artist. I don't really care that much about brands. Sometimes you do concealer first so that you can see how your eye changes. I do that if I'm doing a really natural look, but right now I want to have a little fun. I don't really want to do a super natural look. So I'm going to do this afterwards because the eye makeup is going to fall and I'm going to have to wipe it. This is a beige by Urban Decay. It's got some shimmer in it. I'm going to put that all over my eyelids as my first step. Excuse me. So that was step one. It's just a nice shimmer. It's a little hard to tell in this light, but it's just a soft sparkle. And, you know, make sure it's all blended. I don't mind if it gets a little bit in here because it's so soft, you know, it doesn't really matter. Now, step two is I'm going to add a darker color. And I wanted to show you guys this color wheel, which is something that you can use in fine arts, but you can also use it for makeup. So for me right now, I'm wearing this like maroon dress, and I also have greenish blue eyes. Well, they're more green. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to think, what are going to be the complementary colors that I can use for my eye makeup? For the maroon dress, I'm going to go for, okay, what's the opposite on the color wheel? That's a complementary color. Okay, that's green. I'm not really in the mood to put on green eye makeup, so I'm going to skip that. What color are my eyes? My eyes are a green. Well, What's the opposite of green? Maroon. Okay, now the color wheel is sort of nudging me saying, you know what? Why don't you do maroon? Because maroon is gonna bring out the green. It's not quite as loud as putting on green eyeshadow. So I'm gonna do a maroon eye. I'm going to use, well, maroon. This is a little bit beat up, but it's a beautiful maroon eyeshadow. And again, it's Makeup Forever. I'm probably gonna experiment with adding a little bit of this, a softer maroon. Even though I already put my base on, I sometimes decide as I go what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start with my smaller brush, and I'm gonna go for the darker maroon that I first showed you guys, this one right here. And when I saturate my brush with eyeshadow, I always tap it to let the excess fall, because you want it to build. So now it looks a little funny because I haven't blended it yet. But as you can see, I take it with my brush and I just put it here and here. So you just apply it first and expect that it's going to be a little messy. Expect that you're not going to it's not going to be pretty on the first application. You're just putting it on, you know? It's like you put your pants on and then you have to wiggle your body into them and pull them up before they're totally on. The other side of my brush, which is just a slightly bigger brush, I'm gonna now just buff. So you literally just take a clean brush and you buff. It's like if you're cooking and you're rolling the dough or something, I don't know. So once you're done blending, the work has not stopped. You actually have to go back and edit. I just use face cream sometimes. Like if I don't have eye makeup remover on hand, I'm just gonna take a little bit of face cream and I'm gonna use it as an eraser to erase any of the angle or line that I don't really like. It's gonna be under my eye. So I'm using this cream to just edit my work as I go. See? Makeup. Now I have some makeup on and it looks pretty good, but I haven't done the eyeliner, and the eyeliner is important for making your eyes pop. I'm going to use a pencil. This is a dark brown, but for me as a blonde and as, you know, someone with lighter eyes, a brown is a black. It's dark enough that it acts as a black. So I'm just gonna go into my mirror and I'm gonna take a clean finger. Make sure your finger's clean, it doesn't have any eyeshadow on it. And I'm gonna pull my eyelid and I'm just gonna draw a line into my eyelashes. Think of when you're doing your eyeliner that you're coloring something in. It's like you're coloring in a coloring book. You're doing an outline. You're just literally going in there and you're just coloring. It's so simple. It's not hard at all. So now that I have my eyeliner and my eyeshadow on, no, I'm not done. I have to do my concealer. Concealer is really important. It completely changes everything. I'm going to use one of my favorite companies, Cover Effects. This is a crayon. I really like crayon. So first, you know, it's pretty intuitive. You just put it under your eyes and you want to go up. I'm all about you know, if you're doing your own makeup, you do not need a million brushes. You need eye brushes. Once you get really seasoned, I'm sure a lot of seasoned people that they've been doing their makeup forever, they're not always using a brush. You've got 5 fingers. Okay, I'll show you. I'm patting it in, because if you pat it in, the color does its job. Just keep going. And right now it's looking a little too heavy for me. I don't really want it to look too makeup-y. So I'm actually just going to take a tissue and I'm just going to kind of put it in. There you go. I've blended it in. It's still looking a little bit makeup-y. I'm not trying to look like a Kardashian. I'm going to set my concealer with powder and I'm going to powder my forehead and my nose a little bit. So I'm saturating my brush. I'm just going to powder here. Make sure I'm not too shiny. I'm going to put on a little mascara. This is Benefit. And I have had good experiences with their mascaras in the past. So yeah, that's it. If I can show you in slightly different lighting. Yeah, that's my makeup. I feel like if I was single, I'd be ready to mingle. And as you can see, the maroon eyeshadow, it's not super obvious that I'm wearing a color. It's just, it does complement the green. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you're all doing well.